What's up guys, Mr. Dan here. Welcome back to the channel. As I continue the Halloween countdown, I'm trying to get 13 reviews in before Halloween. And today we're going to take a real quick look at Leviathan. This is a film that I'd seen before. I thought maybe I'd seen parts of it. Now I'm pretty sure that I watched the whole thing because I pretty much remembered almost all of it as it went along. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that part and that part and that part and the end. So yeah, I guess I saw it. But it is very similar to some other more famous films, namely Alien, Aliens, and The Thing. It does sort of borrow heavily from films like that and ideas like that. And of course those films borrowed somewhat from some films that go all the way back to the 1950s. Now I want to mention the channel I'm going to mention today is Ginger Ninja Movie Reviews. He did mention this film in a stream the other day, and since I just picked it up, I said, well, I'm just going to review this one. And he, I don't know if he's reviewed this recently, but he has reviewed Deep Star 6, which is often confused with this film. He has a 60-second review of that. Go ahead and check that out. Anyway, let's get to it. Basically, you have a group of miners led by Peter Weller. He's a geologist. He's not real good at managing people. And they find a Russian ship named Leviathan. Richard Crenna's doctor character can translate Russian into English. And they find the ship is supposedly been sunk somewhere else. So it's almost like someone wanted to cover it up. The Daniel Stern character is kind of a boorish, misogynistic kind of a jerk, of the type that you would not see a character like that today. You just wouldn't. But he actually finds the ship and brings something back, and there's a safe with a log, a video log, which they begin to watch and decipher and decode, and they see that the original crew seemed to suffer some kind of infection, and by the end of it there weren't many people left. And eventually somebody gets infected, and it's pretty gnarly, and the effects are pretty good. The effects in this film are done by Stan Winston's Creature Shop or Studios. I don't know if he himself was involved. I'm going to say overall they're like just a notch below some of the other famous effects films from the 80s, but they're pretty good. And I will say that this film, on the back it says enhanced, it's the theatrical version, enhanced widescreen. Man, this looked great on my TV. I will say that. This looked fantastic on my TV. And maybe that's why some of the scenes, the effects didn't look as good. It was just so, I don't know. Maybe that had something to do with it. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. I've seen worse. They're pretty good. But, and it, it's kind of a standard underwater alien monster movie. People get infected. They try to keep it a secret, calm everybody down. They try to examine everyone without them worrying, and it, the whole time they're in communication. Oh, and there's a hurricane, of course, so they can't really come up right away. And the Peter Weller character has to learn some lessons about how to handle people. He does a pretty good job and kind of emerges as a strong leader by the end of it. And the corporation, whose mouthpiece, or who's the president maybe, I don't know who, Meg Foster, she's in communication with him. She's telling him, oh, there's a delay and so forth, and you kind of get the idea that their intentions are not that great. All the corporations in the 80s movies were evil. We know that. It's got a pretty decent climax. Somebody dies of pretty unsatisfying death at the end, though. It's kind of a shame that he went out like that. I mean, but it's okay. It's pretty good. If you're a fan of these types of films, if you haven't seen it in a while, if you're a fan of these actors, go ahead and check this out. Everybody does a pretty good job in it. Crenna, Hector Elizondo, they were always so good at everything. Ernie Hudson, by the way, I saw Richard Crenna and I immediately get sad because he's no longer with us. Ernie Hudson apparently is not aging. He looks pretty much the same. But yeah, Amanda Pays was pretty much popular around that time. I'm not sure what she's doing lately, but pretty good film. I enjoyed it. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts? Check it out. Come back again for another Halloween horror countdown review. Later.